Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Pigskin Addicts, back again with another video. So, I've been waiting to do this video, been waiting for this day. The LSU Pro Day happened this morning. So, as I'm busy trying to do my regular work, my 9 to 5 work, I'm over here trying to keep up with what's going on. I'm interested in seeing, just much more than Malik Nabers. I want to see how Jaden Daniels is going to throw. And there's a lot of other prospects that LSU is putting out there as well, too. Brian Thomas, I wanted to see how he was going to do his pro day as well, too. But obviously, the star of the show was going to be Malik Nabers, right? I was very, very, very curious about the numbers that he was going to put up and the overall showing that he was going to have at his pro day. And let me tell you guys, it was not disappointing at all. I come on here to say fully throat endorsement for Malik Nabers as the fifth pick in this draft. The Chargers, I don't think that they should trade up, down, whatever. I think this is the guy you get. And I think he's going to be there. You see a lot. There's been so much talk, so much hype about the quarterbacks. It could be three quarterbacks coming off the board with the first three picks. So I think this is the guy that you want. Now, last week, I was pro Marvin Harrison just a little bit, edged him over just a little bit over her Malik Nabers, but I'm out of that category now. Just based off of what I've seen, I'm completely out of that category, and there's a reason why. There's a very, very, very simple reason why I'm out of that category and why I think Malik Nabers, not just the number one prospect on the Chargers, wide receiver prospect on the Chargers draft board, but I think he's the number one wide receiver prospect in all of the draft. I've seen enough. I don't need to see any more. And I'm going to explain why I think that. Right, so let's go back to last year. Let's go back to last year and the disappointment that I personally felt the Chargers had by drafting Quentin Johnson in the first round. I obviously thought that it was the wrong pick, and if I had my way, it would have been Zay Flowers, and I think a lot of people agree with me, especially by the end of the year, right? By the time Week 17 came around, a lot of us Charger fans, maybe there was a few people in QJ's corner, but most of us would have loved to have a Zay Flowers. He went out and he proved himself in his rookie year, right? He's explosive. He's one of the most explosive players, especially for his size in the league right now. And I don't think anybody can really argue that. He did a lot of good things in his first season in Baltimore, and I think he's just going to continue to get better. But when we juxtapose these two guys, right, when we juxtapose Malik Nabers to Zay Flowers last year, Malik Nabers excels in every single category. This is why I think Malik Nabers is a can't-miss pick for the Chargers. There's a bunch of teams who are talking, the talk, and, they're saying, we'll see what happens. We're open to this. We're open to that. I noticed that the Chargers, and I noticed that Joe Ortiz, he said some of those things, but I think that they have been very, very locked in on Malik Nabers from the jump, right? We've seen a lot of trade talk, and will the Vikings, call the Chargers, and what will they offer them as far as the trade to maybe get up to number 5 or whatever. But I think that's all going to be by the wayside now because J.J. McCarthy is now heavily projected to go number 2 to the Commanders. So if the Vikings want to move up, they got to move past the Chargers. They're going to have to go all the way up to number 2 if they want J.J. McCarthy that bad, or if any other team wants him that bad, they're going to have to go up to number 2. So I think that leaves the Chargers out of it now. So I think the Chargers will have the 5th pick. And again, this is a can't-miss prospect. So let's get into how he fared today. Now, I think the biggest thing, and that's why I started the screen here on this article at the very position that I started it. Go check out the last paragraph here. 6 foot, 199 pounds. That is plenty big enough. A lot of people have said things about his size and whatnot. He's obviously not the biggest guy. We know that. We've seen that in college. We didn't expect him to grow, 4 or 5 inches before the draft, right? From the end of the college football season to the draft. We didn't expect that. Not the biggest guy, but certainly not the smallest guy. When you're looking at Zay Flowers last year, and you can go back and look at his height and his measurables and stuff like that, I believe he was only like 5'9". We're gonna get into his numbers right now too, but he's much bigger than Zay Flowers. Weighs about 20 pounds more than Zay Flowers as well too. So that is a thing as well too. His size, he's plenty big enough for the NFL, and he's plenty big enough to make a lot of plays in the NFL. So I think that is a myth that can be dispelled right now. He's plenty big enough for the NFL. Now let's get into some of his numbers today. The NFL posted all these. They know he had a really good showing, so that's why they're posting all these. A 42-inch vertical for a 6-foot guy, 199 pounds. Excellent. What does this mean? That means he has excellent explosion. So when you're looking to jam him off the line and all that stuff, there's going to be a lot of NFL DBs who are going to struggle with that. They're going to struggle being physical with him at the line of scrimmage because a 42-inch vertical is crazy. That's LeBron type vertical. He's got bunnies. He's definitely got the bunnies. So I think obviously you look at this, you say, man, this is explosive. And again, all of these numbers that I'm going over, they all line up. They all are parallel with what you've seen him do on tape all year long. All the explosive plays down the field, down the middle of the field, and all that stuff. This lines up. So it doesn't mean that he's just a gamer or whatever. No, he got up this morning and he did all of this stuff, right? He hasn't played football in several months, but he got up and he did all of this. So that means that this guy is explosive. He is an athlete. He's not just a game time, athlete or whatever. This guy is an athlete. He's a super athlete. So I think this is something we have to keep in mind as well, too. So 42-inch vertical, obviously off the charts, right? Very crazy off the charts. When you look at the broad jump, 10.9 broad jump, very good. Very good. I think the broad jump record is like 11 something, 11.5, 6 or something like that. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but it's not too far off from the record. I think Byron Jones, the cornerback for the Dolphins now, when he first came into the league with the Cowboys, I think he ended up breaking the world record at the combine. So that broad jump is crazy too. Again, what does it tell you about him? Explosive athlete. Very impressive. And then you get to the main course, what everybody came to see, 4.35 40. A 4.35. That is blazing fast. And again, it lines up with everything that you have seen on the tape. It lines up with it. So you don't, look at this 40 and say, oh, well, this guy, maybe he went to a speed camp. Maybe he worked with, I don't know, maybe he worked with a Olympic sprinter coach or something like that. No. This is who he is. This is who Malik Nabers is as an athlete. He's got this speed. He's got this wiggle. This dude is legitimate. He is legitimate. That's why I'm talking with all this excitement. I'm very excited that the Chargers have the opportunity to even get a guy like this, because obviously we see what the wide receiver room is. Now you get a guy like this coming in. He's number one. He's wide receiver number one from day one. I don't want to hear anything about Josh Palmer. I don't want to hear anything about Quentin Johnston. This guy is a super athlete. You're pretty much getting another Jamar Chase, right? And I think this guy is a better athlete than Jamar Chase was, coming out with the numbers and all that stuff. So you're pretty much getting a more explosive version of Jamar Chase. So this guy is going to be number one. If the Chargers draft him, he's wide receiver number one from day one. And we don't want to hear anything else about it. I don't want to hear about Josh. I don't want to hear about Quentin. This is the guy right here. This is the guy who's going to be showcased. And rightfully so, because he's got the attributes. He has everything in his toolbox to be not just a Pro Bowler, but an All-Pro. I honestly think that. So I'm very impressed. Obviously, again, 4.35, blazing speed. When you look at his Twitter, he thinks that he should have been clocked at a 4.28. Now, I don't know if that is the case. I do know that there is like some discrepancy when they run these 40s at some of the pro days, just depending on their setup and things like that. That's why some of the times at the combine, they're honored more and they're looked at as more accurate, because everybody's running, with the same system. They don't change anything, right? It's just guy to guy, right? It's your turn. They don't change anything up. And I think there is some discrepancy here, but a 4.35 is a 4.35 pretty much with this guy here. This is what we see on tape. I think that this is pretty accurate, give or take, a fraction of a second. But this guy is who he is. Now, I brought up Zay Flowers because I feel, and a lot of Charger fans feel, we missed out on an explosive guy who can take the top off of defenses and who can make the Charger offense into something that we haven't seen in a long time, right? That's why I brought him up, because we thought we missed out last year. Well, guess what? If we draft Malik Nabers, we will no longer feel like that. So I wanted to go over Zay Flowers' numbers from last year, just a year ago. So we look at his combine results, right? 4.42 40-yard dash. Still very, very fast, but Malik Nabers is much faster, right? If we're to believe that 4.35 is legitimate, and if it's official, once it goes official, we'll be able to see, okay, yes, this is a legitimate 4.35, much faster. There's a big difference between 4.35 and 4.42. I know it's very close, but there's a big difference, especially in football. There's a big, big difference. So we've seen that, okay, he's much faster than Zay Flowers is. When you look at the broad jump, 10.7. What was Malik Nabers? 10.9, right? So again, more explosive of an athlete. Vertical jump, 35.5. Malik Nabers, 42. So what does this tell you about this guy? It tells you that the guy that we were sad that we missed out on last year, the guy that we're potentially going to draft is much better than him. Much, much, much better. Much more agile, has more speed, all of this stuff. And again, at the end of the day, he's a lot bigger. So we can go up and we can look at his measurables. 5'9", 182 pounds. We just seen Malik Nabers, 6 feet, 199 pounds. So he's got 17 pounds on him and 3 inches. So he's a bigger athlete, a better athlete. So I am extremely, extremely excited with the prospect of having Malik Nabers on our team. I think, again, there's a lot of discussion about what the Chargers should do in the draft. Should they trade down? Should they, take a lot of picks and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And there's going to be, room for that. There's going to be room for that discourse in the second round. Second round and down, I'm completely down to trade down, whatever, and this and that. But this is a can't miss guy. Malik Nabers is a can't miss prospect. I think the Chargers have to go out and get him. This dude can really change life for the Chargers offense, especially considering you got rid of your top 2 pass catchers in Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Those guys are not in Charger uniforms anymore. You have to go out. You have to fortify the position. And, right, respect to Mike, respect to Keenan, but this guy is something that those guys are even not. This guy has a lot of crazy, crazy athleticism to him. And once he, if he is lucky enough, if we're lucky enough to have him as a Charger, once he does get into the building and actually start learning the position and actually start learning some of the nuances of the position as well, too, to couple that with the athleticism and the raw talent that this guy has, it could be scary time for the league. Scary, scary time, considering we have our quarterback in place, considering we have, a good head coach, considering that we're going to have a GM that's going to make moves to fortify this team. This could be scary time for the league. It really, really can. It seems like I'm hyped. Maybe it seems like I'm overhyping him, but I honestly don't think that I am. Like, when you look at everything, when you look at his tape, when you look at his performance, when you see what he's capable of doing, I really, really, really like him going forward. And I think he's a can't miss prospect. I don't want to hear anything else about trades or whatever. I don't care about, defensive linemen in the 3rd or 4th round. I really don't care. This guy can change your offense, right? And we have the worst receiver room in the league right now. We don't even have that many guys, right? It's not just because of talent, but we don't even have that many guys in the receiver room. But we put this guy in the receiver room, I think things start to perk up a little bit, and you really start to get excited with his potential. So, again, guys, I'm just on here to say the Chargers need to take this guy at number 5. I don't want to hear nothing about Marvin Harrison anymore. I don't want to hear nothing about anybody else. This is the pick at number 5. I think we found, the next, future star wide receiver of the Chargers. This guy is here. He's ready to go. And I just want to hear his name be called on draft day, honestly. But that is all I got for this one, guys. Just wanted to come on here, give my thoughts about this pro day. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. Shout out to all of the new subscribers, old subscribers. Shout out to everybody who has been watching videos and, really reacting with the content since I'm back on here consistently. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to see what everybody thinks. I want to see what, the consensus is, especially after the performance today. Very, very interested in seeing it. So that is all I got for this one, guys. And until next time.